Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Call me Mr. Tibbs.
Bazinga!
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Is it my move? Hold on a second. No. Fine. Good game. For crying out loud. Hey there, the Mad Expert is back with my latest reel review. Tackling the Netflix series that's held the #1 spot in popular reviews for a few weeks now. Queen's Gambit. But before I get to this truly wonderful show, I'm going to open with a really brief review of the 2020 election coverage. I realize many of my viewers probably won't need to tune in again since we all know how it ended. But everyone with a TV set probably tuned in at one point or another. So, this is a quick review of the quality of the coverage. I tuned into various networks and streaming platforms just to get an overall idea of which coverage was best. And they all... I'm sorry. How long was I out? Okay, on to the Queen's Gambit. As always, the Mad Expert, me, will break it down into the 3 basics: the good, the bad, and the rest. This is a fictional story of Beth Harmon, a female chess prodigy in the 1960s who breaks through all the barriers, both in the chess world and in the actual misogynistic real world that women faced during those times. Not based on any actual player or any real person, portions of the story, lifted from the Walter Tevis book of the same name, are supposedly taken from his own experiences in the world of chess tournament play. Oh, goody, a movie about chess. I'll bet it's... Of course, I'm kidding. It's not an easy task to take a game that normally moves very slowly. Matches that take upwards of 2 to 3 hours to play, in tournaments that last sometimes for days on end and make them interesting to watch. I can only think of one film ever that made chess matches exciting to watch. The 1993 Joe Mantegna, Ben Kingsley, and Lawrence Fishburne film, Searching for Bobby Fischer. Well, I'm pleased to say the Queen's Gambit gives that film a run for its money. 7 episodes for the first, hopefully not last, season of excellent character development, lovingly detailed set pieces, as well as chess pieces and chess sets. Chess set pieces? You don't need to know the game to enjoy the show, but it's an added layer of joy if you do. And coincidentally, there was a rise in online chess play shortly after the release of this series. So who knows? After watching it, maybe you'll want to learn. Look for an homage to the 1993 film in one of the episodes, where a kid runs from the match to the people waiting outside, delivering move-by-move information. If you know Searching for Bobby Fischer, you'll recognize the scene. Right off the bat, I'm going to start with the good. The entire cast. Seriously. Every actor was perfectly cast. I'm going to cover a few of the standouts and some of my favorites. Bill Camp as the grizzled janitor of the school where the orphan Beth Harmon was raised. Camp gives a subdued performance as Mr. Scheibel, a reclusive old chess player whose initial reluctance to teach the game to one of the school students changes as he recognizes Beth's aptitude for the game. Marielle Heller as Alma Wheatley, the married yet lonely 60s housewife, who, in an effort to find some meaning in her life, adopts Beth Harmon. Despite her strained relationship with her husband and the failure of that union to yield any satisfaction, she develops a strong bond with her daughter and encourages the young Beth's talent. Her own smothered skills as piano player being the poignant catalyst that helps her find pleasure in her daughter's talents. As Beth grows older and starts to play in more and more tournaments, she leaves in her wake a growing list of opponents who later will return as friends, confidants, coaches, and more. Harry Melling as Harry Beltic, Matthew Dennis Lewis as Matt, Jacob Fortune Lloyd as D.L. Towns. What is it with the triple name actors? Is this a new trend in names? One of her first opponents that she has trouble besting, who later becomes a mentor of sorts, is Benny Watts. He's a beatnik kind of chess player who breaks some of the chess world norms with his colorful, outstanding personality. Played here with this kind of bad boy sex appeal by Thomas Brodie-Sangster. Another triple name who I know I've seen before. Why does he look so familiar? Holy shit, it's the kid from Love Actually. Lovesick Sam. Lovesick Sam. Moses Ingram as childhood friend. Wait, only 2 names? Moses Ingram? Come on, Mose, get with the program. As the childhood friend Jolene pops in and out of Beth's life as a sort of Jiminy Cricket to Beth Harmon's excessive nature and difficulty navigating her childhood chemical dependency. All right, let's face it. The series is carried on the shoulders of the character Beth Harmon. And I am more than a little impressed with the acting chops of, count along with me, Anya Taylor-Joy. For fuck's sake, another triple name. Look, the series introduces her to a character that as a child, played by lookalike Isla Johnston, develops a dependency on tranquilizers as dispensed by the orphanage. Apparently, this was a common practice in the early 60s. It takes us through her growth as future Grandmaster chess player. Anya, whose eyes are dangerously large and so beautiful, plays the chess master so convincingly that we never doubt for an instant that she could give us a sound thrashing in a real game. By taking the audience along the journey with Beth as she learns to play, those of you unfamiliar with the game will learn enough about how it's played that the tournament scenes will not be indecipherable, will actually be fun to watch. How do you decide who goes first? What's the purpose of the clock? How is a winner decided? What exactly is a queen's gambit? All these things and more are so well woven into the script that you likely won't even realize you're learning key elements of the game. Of course, performer chemistry and nuanced plot points are important in what above all else is a character-driven show. Now, the main theme here is about women overcoming typical gender repression and breaking through a male-dominant landscape that is the world of chess. Hell, the world, period. It's a shame that we still need reminders that as a society, we've got a long way to go in breaking down gender-related barriers. One thing about this show that stood out was the portrayal of chess players as a whole. I was on the chess team in high school, played a few tournaments. I'm not going to lie to you. I was average at best. But one thing that translated as true to form was the old-fashioned concept of good sportsmanship. It's what we were taught. The players in the film mirror that of player behavior in life. One of the reasons Beth Harmon becomes a celebrity and advances in the field is because her opponents recognize her talents. And when beaten, they not only accept defeat with dignity, but congratulate and praise the victor. While the media focuses on the fact that she's a girl, her opponents mainly saw a fellow chess player. Good sportsmanship. No one cried foul. No one claimed cheat. No one asked for a recount when defeated by a superior opponent. They accepted it and moved on. They even came back to offer to further her knowledge and repair the few holes in her game. Oh, sure, there's a player or two that were sullen or embarrassed, including a few nods to actual chess champions of the time, with a couple of belligerent idiosyncrasies displayed to fans and observers. But even the eccentric Bobby Fischer was known to be a good sport. That is, until he completely lost his mind and became totally deranged. But that's a story for a different series to explore. The bad. As good as the characters are, and as well as these actors handle them, there are elements missing and forgotten in the plot. First thing you'll notice, this is basically a Rocky movie in the chess world. There's a grizzled old man who teaches her how to play, to the defeat she takes from Benny Watts, who returns as her next trainer. Sound familiar? There's a typically intimidating adversary that presents the greatest challenge to her titles. Marcin Dorochenski takes on the role of the adversary Vasily Borgov, a convincing Russian champion, but a little one-dimensional. Now, this is not the fault of the actor. It's one of the only main characters that could have used a little more punch-up in the writing. The series touches on a few issues that just got thrown away or forgotten. Some plot points feel like they would become major obstacles or important conflicts just sort of fizzle out and go nowhere. The show looks great, but it feels like the showrunners were so focused on the visuals, they forgot to develop some storylines. I suppose it can be argued that's an element to true life. Some things just happen and never become important. But if I want true life, I wouldn't watch TV. The rest. I mentioned the visuals. And let's face it, As I've said before, I'm a sucker for a period piece, and make no mistake, this 60s era story captures all the color, all the fashions, the sensibilities that were the early 60s. The beautifully put together sets with the bright colors that were such a wonderful feast for the eyes, contrasted occasionally by the symmetrical, rigid Russian tournament halls. Even the outdoor scenes were filmed in locations that feel untouched by time. And Anya Taylor-Joy is so good at wearing the clothes of the time. Let's face it, some actors just know how to pull off an outfit, and she's a natural. The wardrobe choices were perfect. Miss Taylor-Joy and Marielle Heller, who plays her adoptive mother, have the posture, the vocal cadence, stride, movement, and all of the things of the times mastered so well that I never once lost interest. And the soundtrack is awesome. Each song chosen for different scenes or played over the credits was transformative. It was the 60s. I was swept up by the visuals so completely that I can forgive the story's shortcomings a bit. My final rating. Look, it's been in the number one spot for viewers so long, I'm willing to bet most of you have already seen it and are just watching my review to see if you agree with me or not. It's an enjoyable series. Despite some obvious tropes and some predictable plot points, you probably won't binge it in a few nights, but you will enjoy the ride, you will cheer in the right spots, and you will feel all the right feels when you should. Give it a watch. A good show to end a long day with and maybe developing a hankering to learn how to play. Okay, pick a hand. Let's see who goes first.